Go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Xavier Griffin Commitment Watch Party, where it is simulcast on Alabama at the Voice of College Football, Florida State, Ohio State, Texas, and recruiting at the Voice of College Football. From yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Garrison Gaddy, Jeffrey Littlejohn from Only Talk Sports and Alabama at the Voice of College Football, Matthew Miller, and we will be joined by Leanne Herring in just a little bit, and you may be seeing Sam Moore in just a little bit from Florida State, the Voice of College Football. And let me tell you something, folks, you're going to be in for a wild ride. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Doing great, Jackson. Hopefully we're able to land the guy this time.
I'm doing okay, but I already know the outcome of this, so you guys will be happy here in about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here to say, you guys are rolling on the recruiting show right now. But I do think that, I think this commitment does have a lot to say about other ones and where kids go also. So especially the top kid, right? At linebacker.
Yeah. Well, we'll start with what this means for Alabama. And we'll start with you, Jeffrey. If Alabama lands at Xavier Griffin, what does this mean for the Crimson Tide?
I mean, I think it's massive. I mean, obviously everybody's saying that he's going to go to Bama. It should be a done deal, kind of like with the watch party we had the other day where the guy went to Michigan, Malachi Lee. But you never know. In this day and age, anything can happen, but we should be in great shape here. I will say we have one linebacker committed in the 2026 class, Zay Hall. I believe you just did a video on that, Jackson, the other day with his commitment. He's a solid player, definitely a guy with potential. But Xavier Griffin, he's a guy who's already just elite, right? I mean, this guy is a legit 5-star player, top 30 player in the class. Some outlets even have him as a top 10 player from Gainesville, Georgia. I mean, his skill set is incredible. I believe that if we're, able to land him, which again should be the case, it shows that we're still recruiting at a high level. Some people have been very worried with DeBoer that our recruiting was going to go downhill. And I even had a conversation with Mark Rogers himself at the Voice of College Football the other day about Alabama's recruiting. And he showed that even though we're like 10th right now in the 2026 class, our average player rating is still number 2 in all of the 2026 class of all the college football teams. So that showcases that we're still recruiting at a high level. We're going to catch up in the rankings once we start landing these big-time commits, and our commit number goes up more toward where USC's and Notre Dame's is, which is why they're at the top right now, because they already have so many guys committed. Alabama only has 13 commits right now. This would be the 14th if we're able to land Xavier Griffin, and I think that this commitment would push us up to at least probably number 7 or number 8 in the class for the team rankings of 2026. It'd be a massive get, and I definitely think that it will really set us up to continue to recruit well in the future, and it'd be great for our defense as well.
Well, and now we have Leanne Herring, our national recruiting analyst at the Voice of College Football, Ole Miss Live co-host, Kentucky Wildcats wire writer and Rebel Walt writer, joining us, giving her take on Xavier Griffin before he makes his commitment. Now, since we don't have our Florida State guys here at the moment, if Xavier Griffin was to commit to the Florida State Seminoles, what does this do for Florida State, Mike Norvell, and everybody in Tallahassee?
I was just going over his breakdown and his commitment, and it's been all Alabama from the jump. When we talked to Griffin and and some of the others in his camp, Alabama has been at the forefront. He shared how they've been the most consistent from the jump, and I think what's been really appealing for Alabama as far as Griffin is, this is a really kid that he is really a jack of all trades on that defensive side of the ball, gentlemen. But he is also a master of every single position that he's played, and this is a guy who really Alabama has seen as a wolf again. So it seems like Alabama's in the cards, but I've also said about Florida State, if he were not to announce his commitment to Alabama, my dark horse, my curveball for Xavier Griffin to land would be first and foremost with Florida State. I think he's always shared that the second team has been really consistent in his recruitment, and then he's had a really long relationship with and a strong relationship. Another team that's really appreciate his versatile type, also seeing him as kind of a wolf kind of package, and that's really enticing to Xavier Griffin. He's an athlete, guys, that doesn't want to be put in a box, and he really shouldn't be. He's not only thinking about his draft stock at the college level, but this is a guy that just doesn't want to be known as the edge guy. He just doesn't want to be known as a Mike and a linebacker. He also has been very outspoken about the fact that wherever he lands is that he wants to make sure that he can be a multiple player kind of guy. So again, while Alabama's had the jump, this would definitely be a strong push. I see Florida State possibly making a curveball play here. So don't be surprised if he doesn't announce Alabama today. I am totally leaning towards that he would be down in Tallahassee and he would be a Nole. And I think that aside from the fact that the Noles have really been an interesting approach to the recruitment. They've had a lot of momentum in the last couple weeks. More importantly, the last couple days, flipping 5 stars, being able to track high profile recruits because they have opportunity for these kids. I've said it from the jump. It may not be the sexiest stuff in a destination nationally or especially in the ACC, but what Mike Norvell's done there is he's giving a lot of opportunity for instant impact players, multi-skilled, multifaceted players like Xavier Griffin, the opportunity to not only have a choice, but also to be an instant impact player. So I don't leave the Noles out of it. Of course, I know we have Ohio State. Of course, the Texas Longhorns have been making a push. But if I were to put 2 top programs right now, and then the other program outside Alabama that could be a possible surprise pick here in just a few moments, Florida State definitely would be my dark horse and top push here.
Well, now we get to Matthew Miller. So, if Xavier Griffin commits to the Texas Longhorns, what does this mean for Texas in 2026 and beyond?
So Leanne hit on it, like the versatility this guy brings. He's comped, according to 247, to Jihad Campbell. And you guys know, Alabama fans, how Jihad Campbell was playing inside linebacker and also rushing the passer. So this is an elite prospect. Someone that I never thought we were going to land both Tyler Atkinson or Xavier Griffin. I think it was either or. So if we don't land him, obviously we still have Tyler Atkinson there possibly. But I mean, this guy's a top 10, top 15 player. Number 1, number 2 linebacker, whatever site you want to use. So he's a really good football player. And anytime you can, stack top 20, top 15, top 10 football players, you're going to be competing for national championships. So overall, I mean, it is what it is. If we don't land, it'd be a really big get. But Garrison said before we started the stream too, I think this is going to tell you where other guys land as well. Like this is a big piece to fall and then see where the other dominoes land as well.
Well, it would definitely be a huge win for the Texas Longhorns if they were to land Griffin for sure. And Garrison, we finally get to you. If Xavier Griffin commits to the Ohio State Buckeyes, what does this do for 2026 and beyond for the Buckeyes?
Well, if he were to, I think it would cement first off not Brian Hartline, but James Laurinaitis is one of the best recruits in college football. Of course, recently this class he has Sincere Johnson. He has CJ Sano ranked in the 40s as a linebacker, but also we have Simeon Caldwell, who's one of the top safeties in the country. But for a lot of Buckeyes, we know he's probably going to move down to linebacker. He has a lot of size, and that's kind of like what we've expected out of him. Now, of course, do I expect to get him? No. Ohio State's late in this, and just like Leanne said, he wants to be a multiple guy, not just playing the edge, not just playing linebacker because he has the ability to do so. Whereas right now, Ohio State being late in his recruitment, and I think a lot of that has to do with Tyler Atkinson as of recent, is because we need a guy like him. And, you want the best players. Problem is that Ohio State's edge rushing hasn't really had proof of concept as of late. Even though our linebackers are, you still need to have that. And so if we were to land him, that'd be awesome. Do I expect to? No. But I do believe that wherever he goes, it does help Ohio State out with another recruitment, with that being Tyler Atkinson. But at the same time, I think Ohio State should be very comfortable with their linebacker class right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State is just loaded all over the place for sure. And, Leanne, you've studied his background a little bit. For those who don't know about Xavier Griffin, can you give us a description about him? For
Well, even though he plays in Gainesville, Georgia, number one player in Georgia, another reason why Alabama has had a big push is Griffin is an Alabama native. So we go back into recruitment. We talk about roots and relationship. When you look at him off the jump now, he's at that 6'3", 200 frame. So he's a little bit more leaner than most linebackers. So I think that that's going to be one of the kind of toss-ups that a lot of people, scouts have been talking about. But I think as he bulks up this offseason heading into a senior season, I think that that will only complement his skill sets. But I mean, just from the jump, when you look at him, like I said, I had the opportunity to really study him in live reps during the All American Bowl this past season in San Antonio. I mean, this is a guy who's just, I mean, he really can do it all and he does it effectively. I mean, when you see him rushing the passer, stuffing the run, he just knows, and then dropping back into coverage, he just does it with so much ease, gentlemen, and so much fluidity. If you were ever to put like an all-star player and you wanted to put a guy that just made the best out of every kind of defensive strength points, Xavier Griffin fits that model. And again, like everyone has alluded to here, this will be an interesting recruitment because how Xavier Griffin commits today will definitely see where Tyler Atkinson go and also where some of these other guys and these other programs are going to move towards. But again, this is a guy that I think as he continues to transform physically this offseason, I think that that's only just going to help him maintain. Again, if you guys have seen his tape already, you know that he possesses extreme quickness. That's one of the standout traits for me from the jump. So I think as he bulks up a little bit more and he learns to complement. But like I said, this is a guy who's really good at firing off the line, whether he's both in a 2-point or a 3-point stance. He has that agility. He has that lateral quickness. I mean, that is just really good to allow him to weave through blockers. And again, like I said, he's just got really remarkable sideline to sideline range. He's one of those linebackers that just technically sound. He knows how to close the gap with explosiveness. And then, like I said, he's just really effective at zoning in on his target. Like I said, whether he's chasing a running back, he's dropping back into that zone coverage, or just being a threat to the quarterback. This is a kid, like I said, he is a jack of all trades and he is definitely a master of every single skill set. And I think he just really is redefining the linebacker. I've talked about, especially with this 2026 and even some of this 2027 high school talent. I feel that a lot of these kids are learning how to play multiple positions and be skilled players, going back to being a skilled athlete. Because, like I said, now they're not just being specialized. And Xavier Griffin just doesn't want to be a specialized guy because he knows that down the long haul, in the collegiate level and having aspirations to play and be drafted high in the NFL already early in high school, is that he knows he has to be a multi-purpose threat. He has to be a multi-purpose player. So like I said, this is a kid that just really excels pass rushing. I mean, he's got that speed and technique, like I said, that's really effective in knowing how to press the quarterback. When it comes to his run stop ability, his instinctives just allow him to read and identify plays quickly, and he's just really
oh,
decisive and meticulous. Yeah.
He just committed
oh, sorry
Alabama.
to make this interruption. We just got breaking news. He put on the Alabama hat, and he is committing to the Alabama Crimson Tide for 2026. Wow, well, that went fast. Holy,
Yeah, he did that really quick.
Like they say, when you know, you know. And I think we expected this, and I think too. Now, speaking of this, I think that sets up Tyler Atkinson in Texas with a really really strong push. Like Matthew was saying, you want to get two. You would be lucky to get two exceptional elite 5-star players, but in this day and age, these kids want to be instant impact players. They want to go to a program. So I really like now with this domino falling, gentlemen, I really like now where Tyler Atkinson sits with the Texas Longhorns. I think now that kind of thing, you don't want to say that it's a done deal, but now that I think that Xavier Griffin going to Alabama, I think that's sets up the Texas Longhorns really nice to like to land Tyler Atkinson. I think the Longhorns too have really made a strong push for his elite talent. I really like where Tyler Atkinson fits in the dynamic of where Texas stands. So again, Xavier Griffin, with no surprise, roots and relationships. And like I said, for the jump, I think he could have seen himself at any of these programs. But I think, gentlemen, like I guess I don't know if you would agree. I think that Alabama really just from the jump really saw him and wants him to be that wolf guy. They really want to embrace the fact that he's got a strong level skill set, and they are going to allow him to, utilize those talents. But again, like I said, a really huge get for Alabama, getting a versatile player. I think that's just invaluable to get this Longhorn sit to get, fellow blue chip guy in Tyler Atkinson.
Yeah, and, you don't mind me adding on to that. I mean, just something about his tape when you watch Griff. I mean, one of my favorite things to say about players is that their eyes don't lie, and you can clearly see on the tape like where he targets in, the ball is going. And that's really important as a linebacker. He has really good gap fits also. You like Leanne said, he's really he's an elite athlete. You watch his first 3 steps, he's joining the backfield. He has a lot of burst. There's a lot of technical things he's gonna have to work on, especially at the edge. Just having more bend. Being able to use your hands more, because the high school level, if you're the bigger, better athlete, you're going to beat the guy that's on the other side of you. And in college, it's a little bit different. But he shows that you have a guy like that who has that type of athletic ability and that size. I mean, I remember it was Bud Elliott said maybe 2 years ago on Cover 3 podcast that usually when you have a 5-star guy, it's not so much that he's more technically sound than someone that maybe a 4-star, high 4-star, blue chip or 3 stars. It's the fact that usually the bigger, faster athlete turns out to be the better player. And he's one of those guys. I mean, he's very versatile, but like I said, his eyes don't lie. I think that's really important as a linebacker.
It's a huge win for Bama, and I've got a feeling this puts Alabama back in the top 10 recruiting classes, according to 247 and On3, because last Alabama was ranked 11th, according to 247.
I thought they were 10, and Michigan was 11.
It was Alabama that was 11th last I looked at that time.
Yeah, you guys probably jumped up to 8 or 9 now.
I gotta be honest, the commitment going on this quick, it kind of felt like watching a Mike Tyson fight in the late 80s.
Well, I have some beef with his dad because his dad had a burnt orange shirt on. So I was like, do we have a shot here? And then 30 seconds later, he's like, nah, Alabama.
Yep. It was yelp.
So I'm looking at it right here. They have you guys at 10 right now, and that's before they don't even have it updated yet. So I mean, who's ahead of you guys right now? Florida State. Yes, you guys are going to move up to
Notre Dame.
You guys are going to move to number 9, I think, after today.
Yeah.
Because you guys are at 232. They're at Florida State's at 237 at 9th. You're about to add a 5-star kid. So.
Yeah, for sure.
And George sends and our guy George sends his condolences to Florida State. He's a funny guy. For those that really tune into the voice of college football, including the college football show at 3 p.m. Central Time from Mondays through Fridays, you'll know that he is a funny guy for sure. He is one of the funniest guys you'll see. He's got that Joe Exotic Tiger King voice.
Hey, we're going to be in contention with them pretty soon, too, because Trenton Henderson commits in the next month.
And here we go. I think we got Leanne back here. There we go. You're back. Sound good? Let's see. Here we go. But while we wait for the connection to kind of work its way back up a little bit, now that we saw Texas is not getting Griffin, what's next for the Longhorns on the recruiting trail for 2026?
So we have, it's a flurry coming down the pipeline right now. So we have Kendall Gerville, defensive lineman. I think he's going to go to Texas. I'd be kind of surprised if he doesn't. 4-star. We're competing with Florida in that one. He commits, I believe, July 2nd or 3rd. I think he ends up at Texas. John Turntine is the 4th at 11:04 p.m., which is a weird time to put your commitment, but I think he ends up at Texas, especially with Malachi Lee going to Michigan. And I mean, that'd be 2 really good players that Texas gets. Obviously, they're missing out right now, but you're going to miss out. I mean, you're in these high level recruitments. You're not going to land all these players. It's just not possible. It's not going to happen. And Sark's going to recruit through the whistle. Like I said, on the Malachi Lee one, 2 days ago, you're going to get a late flip here from Sark. He always does that. He always flips someone late, and then he also gets onto someone like a month or 2 before the actual signing day, and they end up at Texas. I mean, we saw that with Justice Terry. Justice Terry was not being talked about at all to Texas at this time, at all. We got him. So Texas fans, calm down. I can't believe I even have to say this, because last year at this time, we're ahead of the pace of where we were last year. And we ended up with the number 1 class. So calm down. We'll be fine. We'll end up with the top 5 class. Sark's never not had a top 5 class. I'm pretty confident that we'll end up with one.
Garrison, what does this do for the Buckeyes today moving forward?
Moving forward, I mean, the last guy to go after here is Tyler Atkinson, right? Now, Tyler Atkinson is someone who just a month ago said that Ohio State was leading in his recruitment. That, of course, has teared off over the last few weeks. It looks like nothing but the state of Texas there. So, and then maybe even Georgia. I think Ohio State's out of that recruitment, and that's okay. I truly believe that. Again, you're talking about already having Sincere Johnson, and it's really hard to get 2 top 10 linebackers in one class like that. It's really rare for a program to do that. Of course, Bama has done that a few times. I think Texas has before, and Georgia has. But for Ohio State, again, when you have that, and then you have Simeon Caldwell, who's the number 9 safety in the country, but it's mostly well known that he's probably going to move down to linebacker. I think Ohio State's fine right now when you talk about that. Yeah, under Matt Patricia, you want more linebackers. You want a versatile guy like Tyler Atkinson, because we run a multiple defense now. We run a lot of guys off the edge at linebacker. But I think Ohio State's going to be fine right now. We have a lot of guys, young guys in the room. And I think that the linebacker class is fine also with C.J. Sana being in there from Olentangy High School in Ohio.
Well, and I'm looking at the Florida State recruiting class for 2026. They've got 2 linebackers lined up. Noah Lavelle from Marietta, Georgia, Walton High School, who committed 12 days ago, and Karen Maycock from Miami Central High School, Miami, Florida. Now, there are a couple 3-stars, but I mean, that's no issue there. But I do wonder if the linebacker room is really going to look good for Florida State going forward. Because, I mean, it's a huge miss that they didn't get at Xavier Griffin. But all you can do is move on, go from there. See if you got a chance at flipping them on Christmas or not. But you'll definitely wait and see. But huge win for the Crimson Tide. But Texas and Ohio State, they're moving forward, going for their next targets. Going to shoot for Atkinson.
Looking at these teams, I mean, none of us should freak out about recruiting because what our teams have done in the past. Whereas, like Florida State, honestly, probably should a little bit, because under Mike Norvell, they don't really recruit high school very well. They do a really pretty good job in the transfer portal. It's been hit or miss. Obviously, the last 2 years have shown that, where you got left out of the college football playoff after going undefeated. And then last year, you only have 2 wins. So for them, I would say this is a bigger loss, especially since Ohio State and Texas are in on Tyler Atkinson. Ohio State just had a linebacker commit, like Garrison just said, and Texas is probably going to have another one too. Kosiak Apala is going to be committing to Texas here in the next week, maybe 2 weeks as well. So I'm not too concerned about this, and it's Sark. He gets his work done late in the recruiting cycle, but I'd be more concerned if I was a Florida State fan, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Florida State, they've got quite an interesting future. But the best part about being down is the only way to go is up. Well, I guess that concludes the end of the show. Matthew, what have you got going on Longhorns Live this week for those that don't know about Texas at the Voice of College Football?
Yeah, so we usually do our show Monday at 8 Eastern time. We're just shifting it 24 hours to Tuesday. We're going to be breaking down a preview of the Georgia-Texas games. Yeah, that's going to hurt a little bit for us Texas fans, reliving the last 2 games we played them. Hopefully we get that monkey off our back down in Athens this year. Garrison and I just did an Ohio State one, a week or 2 weeks ago, and that will be dropping pretty soon as well on the Texas channel. We wanted to push it a little bit later into the offseason. So we'll have those 2 previews coming up very soon on the channel with Texas playing Ohio State and Texas playing Georgia. So looking forward to that, collabing with the Georgia channel as well. But again, every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, other than this week, it's going to be Tuesday at 8 Eastern time. That's the only change.
Well, we are definitely looking forward to that crossover. I know it's always fun seeing Garrison and Matthew crossing over. I mean, let's be real. It's always fun seeing you guys on everywhere we can find you for sure. So tell your friends, your family.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Jack.
I was going to say, what you want to do is tell your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Post about the magic that Matthew Miller is creating with Gerald Goodrich on Longhorns Live Monday nights on Texas at the Voice of College Football. Garrison, what magic are you cooking up this week?
Oh, well, first off, shout out to Matthew for doing some negative recruiting last week with Ojo. That was dirty. But no, man. Mondays we moved the time to 7:00 on Mondays and for the Ohio State primetime show with myself and Ryan Stanos. Also, we'll be moving it to 7:00 on Thursdays for the call-in show. This week, still working on the time, but myself and Sam from College Football was saying we'll be talking about, for all Ohio State fans, we'll be talking about the move from Urban Meyer into Ryan Day and how Ohio State is actually, the program's in a better spot than it was with Urban Meyer. So talk about that. And but yeah, man, outside of that, also a few interviews coming up. Talk about that soon.
Oh, man, that's funny because I was talking with College Football with Sam Friday night. That was pretty funny. Hey, as they say, great minds think alike.
Yes, they do.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, you can check me out on Alabama at the Voice of College Football Monday nights, Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time. And, of course, you can check me out on the Alabama Call-In Show, 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, where we take your calls discussing the Crimson Tide. And, of course, shout out to Jeff Reed, Only Talk Sports, who was here a little while ago. You'll see him Monday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central Time, and on the Alabama Call-In Show, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time, Thursday nights on Alabama with the Voice of College Football. You can check him out on Only Talk Sports, where he also had his SEC preview with Will and D on his channel. And, of course, you can check out my release of tonight's edition of the Jacksonian with College Football with Sam himself, Samuel Recker, as we talk a lot about which coach without a national title is the most likely to get a natty before the decade ends. We talk a lot about who's the bigger disappointment between Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley. Who's more like Jimbo Fisher between those two? I won't spoil it too much because you're going to be in for a wild ride. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe to each of these channels that you are watching so you never miss another video or another episode whatsoever. And we will see you soon. Roll Tide! And there you go. There you go. Got a little hook 'em and a OH.